just need a really quick video because we're going to be away for a week. So we need to be able to edit this in the same time that we're editing the podcast that came out last week. So we're going to do a tag video, and we're going to do Callum's starter ranking tag. Are you done there, Kat? That he started back in March. It is now practically October, so what better time to jump on a bandwagon than 10 months after it passed? Okay, so we are ranking each of the starters from each generation, number 1 to number 3. And then I think at the end we're supposed to also rank the top 3 out of the top ones. We're going to start, of course, with Generation 1. And in case you can't tell, this is entirely unscripted. So, Generation 1. We've got Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. I really like all 3 of them. I have good memories with games, like of playthroughs with all 3 of them. But I think that Bulbasaur easily ends up in the number 3 spot. Squirtle and Charmander that really fight for that top spot. Like, it's a really tight contest between all 3 of them. Charizard specifically and Blastoise I have especially good memories with. Like, I've played with them as my starter a lot more. See, I keep going like, well, Blastoise I think is number 1. But then I'm like, oh, but Charizard was... So I think I will go with Blastoise as number 1, after all. I have done a playthrough of just Blastoise, just Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, and no other Pokemon except for like HMs and stuff, because obviously you need those. So I know just how versatile Blastoise can be, and yeah, Charizard is really cool and really powerful. Mega Charizard Y, I think, is probably one of the best megas. It's definitely the best of the Kanto starter megas. In terms of design, and I think that Mega Charizard Y is really good at making Charizard more like Charizard, more like the Charizard that it is, whereas Mega Charizard X is more like making Charizard into what people wish Charizard was, because they make it a dragon. Yeah, and see, Blastoise doesn't have a great Mega. No, okay, Blastoise is number 1. Well, Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur. That's what we're going with.
Gen 2, baby.
Gen 2, baby. Yeah, so Generation 2, we have Chikorita, Totodile, and Cyndaquil. Sadly, Chikorita is number 3. I love Chikorita itself, and I love Bayleaf. But as anyone who's watched my channel for a few months at least probably knows, I hate Meganium. Meganium is terrible. Like, it's such a huge disappointment in terms of evolving from Bayleaf, and it's also not really a great battler. Like, I love the Pokemon that hit hard and fast, and who cares if they don't take many hits. And Meganium is the opposite of that, although I don't even know if it can really take too many hits. It's Meganium. It kind of sucks. Again, it's between the other 2, and it's a tight contest, but I feel like I have more fond memories with the Cyndaquil line, easily. Typhlosion, I think, was my first starter in Generation 2, but, the more I look at its design and compare it to the Totodile line, especially nowadays, and, everyone knows how terrible Typhlosion looks in 3D because it doesn't have its fire. The Totodile line looks better. The Totodile line is cooler, and I have also used it in some playthroughs that I really like. They're also very versatile. The water starters are generally really cool, like really versatile with all kinds of different moves, Crunch and Ice Punch and all that on Feraligatr and Waterfall. I feel bad doing this. I feel like I'm betraying my friend Cyndaquil, but I have to give the number 1 spot to Totodile. I'm sorry! Generation 3, Hoenn. Hoenn, we've got Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic. And again, all 3 of them are really good, but this one I think is a little bit easier for me to put into an order. I don't know that I've ever really used Trico. I might have used Trico when I played Emerald, but I only played Emerald once, and I didn't like it very much. I really like Ruby, and Emerald just felt like it was too much the same. So that's probably why I didn't really build any kind of relationship with Trico and Sceptile. Whereas with Torchic and Blaziken, I absolutely did. I still have that Blaziken that I used in Ruby. Its name is Blaze, spelled in all caps because that was normal back then and not something that we can change anymore. But yeah, I still have it in my Pokemon bank. Occasionally, bring it into a game just to say hello. So Blaziken definitely takes the top spot there, and Sceptile definitely takes the number 3, which leaves Mudkip at number 2. And Mudkip is actually a Pokemon that has grown on me a lot. Swampert specifically has grown on me a lot. Mega Swampert is awesome. I love the look of Mega Swampert and the way that it battles, at least in the in-game sense, because I don't really do competitive. It's awesome. It's just not as good as Blaziken. So, Generation 4, we have Turtwig, Piplup, and Chimchar. I think it's another pretty close contest. That's what most of them are. Chimchar was, I think, my first starter in Diamond, and I did really like it. It's got my fighting style, right? But the more I look at it, the more I find it kind of boring, especially in the context of the other firefighting types. Even though I did, yes, really enjoy playing with Chimchar and Infernape, it doesn't stand out anymore. Piplup is adorable, and Empoleon has really grown on me recently for all kinds of reasons. I think it's got a really good, really complex design, and it's really useful in battle as well. It's very powerful for the way I play, but for some reason it just hasn't really, I don't think it's taken that top spot in my view, which I think goes to Turtwig. And even though Turtwig, by the way, today was Turtwig Community Day, and even though I didn't have time to go and actually play, I just tapped on some that I could see from my house. I got a shiny anyway, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, I do like Turtwig just fine as it is. It's kind of boring. Not Grovyle, Groddle, that's what it's called. Groddle is really ugly. I really don't like Groddle at all. But Torterra I think is awesome. I really like Torterra's design though. Torterra just does such a good job of taking the concept of the world turtle, the turtle that carries the entire world on its back, and simplifying it onto a design of a single creature that is a more reasonable size and not the size of the whole world. You have spikes on its back that represents a mountain range. You have just one tree on its back and it represents forests. And, that kind of simplification is really well done in Torterra. It's something that Pokemon generally does well, but I just think it's especially successful in this case. So Torterra and, by extension, Turtwig take the number 1 spot in Generation 4. Generation 5, I think Generation 5 is an easy one. I guess I should point out what the 3 options are. Smugleaf, that's not its name. Snivy, Oshawott, and Tepig. Yeah. So I think this one is an easy choice because I really don't like the Snivy line. Snivy itself is okay, but I really do not like God, why can't I think of the Pokemon names? Snivy, blank, Superior. See, I don't like it. I just dislike it so much. I don't even know its name anymore, even though, it was one of my best battlers in Pokemon Masters for a little while because of Rosa. Rosa's so good. Okay, I give up. Well, I hate that one. Whatever its name is, I don't like it. And I don't like Superior either. It's a fine snake. It's just, yeah, I just don't find it very interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Tepig, and I'm not a huge fan of the middle evolution either, because I'm not going to think of the name now. But Ambor I do really like. I like its design a lot. It has a fantastic shiny too, even though I don't have one of those yet. It looks awesome, even though it's not that great of a battler, I think. It's good enough for my in-game. Definitely, easily outcompetes Superior. But then we have Samurott. Oshawott is pretty cute. Duat is alright. It's probably one of the more okay middle stages of all the starters, because starter middle stages are terrible, just across the board. Samurott, I really like. I love the swords that it has in its arms. I love the shell helmet horn thing. I know that some people really don't like Samurott, but I don't get it. It's a samurai otter. What's not to like? Number 1, Samurott. Number 2, Ambor. Number 3, Serperior. Poor Serperior.
Servine.
Servine! What an ugly Pokemon. Generation 6 is another... I was going to say it's another easy one, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, but actually... If I was ranking only the first stages, easy. Because I would go with Fennekin at the top, Chespin as number 2, and Froakie as number 3. If I was only ranking the middle stages, Braixen at the top, Frogadier at number 2, and Quilladin at number 3. But you see already that there's a beginning of a complication there because 2 of them switched places. If I'm only ranking the third stages, also really easy with Greninja at the top, Chestnut at number 2, and Delphox as number 3. But that's the problem. None of them are consistently good. Fennekin is adorable. Braixen has a really good, really well put together design. And then Delphox just falls off the wagon. Froakie is not that interesting. Frogadier is pretty cool. Greninja is awesome. Chespin is pretty cute. Quilladin looks kind of weird. And then Chestnut is pretty cool again. I guess Chespin, the Chespin family, is actually the most consistent one. But it's consistent in the middle. I think I have to go with the final stages because I have used a Greninja a lot more than I've used any of the others. I have a really awesome shiny Greninja. So Greninja is going to take the number 1 spot. And I think... No, you know what? I'm going to give Fennekin the number 2 spot. And I'm going to give Chespin number 3 spot, which makes me feel bad because Chespin is not a number 3 Pokemon. But it's just one of those things, right? It's like, Chespin is really good, but it always depends on what the rest of the competition is. So, yeah, I feel bad. I'm sorry, Chespin, but you're going to take number 3 because Braixen is just that much better than Quilladin. Yeah. Huh. This is difficult. Generation 7 is relatively easy because... Alright, well, let's go through the options. We've got Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. No contest, Rowlet takes number 1. Rowlet is adorable. Dartrix is kind of weird, but it just has so much personality. And Decidueye is one of my all-time favorite starters. But here's the thing. Because I really like Litten, I really like Torracat, I really do not like Tony the Tiger, Incineroar. I'm okay with Popplio. Popplio's fine. I don't really like Brionne, but I do like Primarina. So it's again one of those where like they're consistently in the same spot, and then the last stage they flip. And now like, okay, well, what do I give priority to? Yeah, it's a tough call. I think I'm going to give Litten and Torracat number 2. You know, it's just the other 3, I just don't have a very close relationship with them. So yeah, so Popplio and the line can be number 3. But Rowlet, easily number 1. Generation 8, we've got Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble. Really hard to judge at this point. I think everyone who's done this tag has said this before, but, you know, we've only seen the first stages, right? I'm pretty sure that's the consensus.
Yes.
We've only the first stage has been revealed. I've only seen the first stage. And that's the other thing. I haven't had a chance to actually play with them. So the only thing I can go on is their design and the little bit of personality that was shown in the trailers. It's hard to say because I feel like Sobble has a ton of potential for really cool evolutions. And I feel like Scorbunny doesn't have as much potential. I feel like its evolution is going to be a little bit more predictable. But looking only at the first stages, only at their designs and their personalities, that little glimpse of personality that we've seen, I have to put Grookey at the top. Grookey is just so full of energy, and it looks adorable, and you know, it seems to have some kind of music theme to it, which I like as well. So yeah, I think Grookey takes number 1. Number 2, I'm a little bit more divided here because I do like Scorbunny. I think I like Scorbunny more than Sobble in terms of the design, but in terms of the personality, Scorbunny seems too outgoing for my preferences. So I think I'll put Sobble above Scorbunny. Who knows, man? Like, I don't know anything about these starters at this point. At the time of recording, we are exactly 2 months away from Sword and Shield. Maybe the middle starters have even, middle stages of the starters have even been revealed by the time this video comes out. So all I've got is the first stages, and I'm satisfied with this list. All right, so now I have to choose. I'm going to go with a top 3. Squirtle and Totodile, I have a lot of nostalgia for, but I also feel like they're kind of weak. Like, their design is definitely kind of weak compared to the others. I think they have an unfair advantage of me having so many years with them. They don't stand out as much if I were to correct for nostalgia. And Torchic might have a little bit of that too, but I do really like Torchic and Blaziken still. And that's one that's been consistent throughout, so that might be a contender there. Generation 4, I do really like Torterra, but I haven't played Generation 4 enough to warrant putting one of them in the top 3. Same with Generation 5, really haven't played it all that often, so Samurott, I think I'm going to leave that one out of the top 3 as well. And I'm not going to count Grookey because I don't know anything about it. I'm just going to disqualify Grookey. So my top 3, Torchic, Froakie, and Rowlet. That's a really tough one. See, I'm inclined to just say Rowlet. I'll just go with Decidueye as number 1. I don't think that that's a bad choice, but at the same time, it's also the one that's like the freshest in my mind. Not counting the shiny Greninja, but Greninja is one that I've had for a long time. One that I've known and liked for a long time, and that I spent a really long time trying to get that shiny Froakie. And I finally did, and it was on my birthday, so there's all these things that come together that give it an advantage as well. And Torchic is one that I've liked a lot and consistently for many years. How old is Ruby and Sapphire now? I think that was like 2004, 2003, 2004 that it came out. Yeah, so it's been like 15 years. But you know what? I can only say what my preferences are right now. I can't say what my overall corrected preferences are, really. I think I am going to go with Decidueye as number 1, Greninja as number 2, and Blaziken as number 3. And I think that gives you a really good idea of what kinds of Pokemon I like. They're all the same kind of Pokemon. Alright, well, this was a fairly low-effort video, completely unscripted, but I enjoyed recording it. I hope that you enjoyed watching it. So let me know in the comments where you agree, where you disagree, and since I didn't get personally tagged by anyone, I'm going to pull a Birdkeeper Toby and say I tag everyone who wants to do this. Even though the bandwagon passed 10 months ago, who cares? We can do whatever we want. I said 10 months, it's not 10 months from March. It is 7 months from March. That's still right on time, right? To join a bandwagon. So if you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by leaving a like. If you're new here, you can subscribe. I'm Umbreon Libris. I'll see you in the next chapter.